Welcome to our open house for peace and understanding. This is one of our largest groups that we've had, many new students. I pray that you will be able to communicate back with us. In 15 minutes, we are going to have our guests from Penn Charter High School, and Eric will give us a small talk about attending universities in the United States. Also,
okay.
Thelma?
Ghana is a country, a nice country. Ghana gained independence in 1957, and Ghana was the first country to gain independence in Africa. And we are the second country that produces cocoa.
Cocoa. Chocolate. Wonderful. Who likes chocolate?
Yeah. And we are good producers of cocoa, timber, and we have a lot of gold in our land.
Okay.
It looks like now our processes aren't as they used to be. They are reduced now, like they aren't there like how they used to be.
Okay.
And our education system is kind of different from yours. We have primary, JHS, and SHS, which is primary, junior high school, and senior high school. And we have the tertiary level, which is which also consists of health colleges and education colleges, then universities.
Wow, excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Welcome.
Uska, Thelma, and Debbie, do you have access to Telegram? Do you know what Telegram? You do?
Yes, please. Yes, we have access to Telegram.
Great, because I am going to need to send to you our Telegram channel so that and will you be able to join our Telegram channel?
Yes, please.
Okay, excellent. Let me find it right now. Let me see. How do I do this?
Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, please.
Where are you from?
I am from the United States. I live in the but I have been living in Poland for a very long time now.
Pardon?
Hold on, I'm just getting this Telegram link for you. Okay, and I go to Zoom. One moment, and then I answer your questions. Okay, can you look in the chat? I will also send this to Mohammed. Mohammed, I will send to you the Telegram link so that your students can join Telegram. Yes? Okay, did you see the
sure,
link?
Benjamin, you could send it through.
Okay, I'm going to send to you on WhatsApp.
Halima, where are you from?
I'm in Tajikistan.
Palestine.
Thank you.
I want
to make friends with you.
How old are you?
Are you fine?
Yeah, I'm fine.
No, she asked how old are you? Yes?
Yeah.
I am 18.
Wow.
Yes, we have some very old students and some very young students. How old are you,
Okay.
Thelma? How old are you, Thelma?
I'm 15.
15? And
Yeah.
Debbie?
I'm 16.
16. And your friend's name? I forgot your friend's name. Remind me.
Uska.
Uska, yes. Uska. And how old are you, Uska?
I'm 16 too.
16 too. Okay. Very good ages. Very, very good ages.
16.
Wonderful. And who is, we have a new, I think I have another student I haven't seen before. Anna Suna. Hello, Anna.
Hi.
Hi. Have you been, I don't believe you've joined our group before. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And where are you from, Anna?
I'm from Jordan.
From, we've got some students from Jordan. That's good, 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 good. Okay, I thought so. You know, it's, now we have lots of kids and it's hard for me to keep track of everybody. I'm so glad that you can, at some point before we finish, I'm going to ask if you can turn your videos so that I can see all of you at the same time. And I believe soon our Eric Fudra will join us and talk about universities in the United States. And then next week. Okay. Who would like to study? Who wants to go to college?
We.
Yes, we. Very good. And Anna, do you also want to go to college?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay, good. And how about Loic? Is that correct, Loic?
Hi,
Hello. Where are you from, Loic?
I am from Tajikistan.
You're from Tajikistan. Okay. And you want to go to university or college?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Good, good, good. And I think very exciting. What would you like to study, Louis? Hold on. I need to ask one at a time to Thelma and Uska. We need to keep, Eric is joining us. So it's very important that that you keep your microphone on mute so that we can hear each of us speak clearly. All right. Hello, Eric. Nice of you to join us. As you can see,
certainly great to be here.
We have quite a group today. This is our Eric, you are joining us on our record day. We have students from Tajikistan, we have students from Jordan, we have students from Poland, and we have students from Ghana. It is my record day. I am extremely excited. And all of them have said they want to study in college. So, Eric, can you share with us what these students can do to prepare themselves to go to college in the United States or in college?
Certainly, my pleasure, and good evening to all of you. I'm sitting at Thank you.
I'm going to just mute people and then ask them to unmute afterwards.
Certainly. I know that our students and Mariana Allen will join probably in a couple minutes as well. So we'll have some of the students and our faculty from Penn Charter also chime in. So a little bit about my background. I do work directly with the secondary school students, high school students on the college process. the majority of our students, the vast majority of our students do study in the United States. I'm in the United States, although some of our students do apply to colleges outside of the United States. And they're certainly interested once they're in college to study abroad. So maybe the first aspect that I'd like to share with you is there's going to be different ways that you can have what we can call an international or study abroad experience. That may mean out of your home country. For many students, though, an international or global experience is simply attending a school, even within your own country, that has international students. And I think this Zoom is a great example of it. You wouldn't think of this right now through the computer as studying abroad in some ways, but you're interacting with students that are not from, your own country, primarily your home language, cultural understanding, cultural values. So that's the richness of higher education, particularly I feel when you have the opportunity to interact with ideas that are different than your own. So I don't want you to think that this has to be a high price or travel many miles. What we're really talking about is learning from individuals who have backgrounds that are different from your own. So that's one piece. Over the next, I would say 10 minutes, just so you have a sense of pacing and your own attention span, which I really respect and appreciate, is I want to talk a little bit about basically what you can do right now as a student. And what we even share with our students here at Penn Charter that are all going to go on to college or university is that we want them to be students first and not let the process completely drive what they do. So the first part here is enjoy what you're studying. So if you're writing down any notes today, maybe that would be the first thing to write down. Enjoy what you're studying. Invest yourself in what you are studying. And I certainly understand that some students appreciate some courses more than others. What we really value, though, is that you can find new discoveries. Perhaps there's a course that you did not think that you wanted to take, but you were required to take, but that opened up a door of learning that really made you realize that, yes, I am a science student and I love the arts and humanities, or I'm an arts and humanities student and I love the social sciences, economics, sociology. So be open-minded, love what you're studying. On the college side, we'll talk about the application a little bit as it relates to this, is whatever curriculum you're in, that could be your home country's national curriculum. And there are certain requirements that you need to meet. You're going to meet those requirements and meet those standards. You will also see that there may be some ways that you can elevate your learning because you're going to go into higher level courses, whatever they're called. Perhaps you're meeting the standards of your national curriculum, but you know that you are moving forward or advanced in particular subject areas. Maybe some of you attend schools that have a curriculum called the International Baccalaureate, or perhaps you have a program that really comes from another country, like in the United Kingdom, where they have advanced level courses, the A levels as an example. My point here is whatever curriculum you're in, embrace that curriculum and push yourself as much as you can while enjoying the learning. So that's number one. Okay, enjoy what you're learning. That's going to translate into your transcript. And that'll be a required part of the application that you're submitting later on. As you're looking to school, if you're looking to school within your home country, there may be a national exam that you need to sit for. And you're more familiar with that national exam than I am. There may be kind of a national exam that is an entryway to university in your country. And wherever a line is drawn with that national exam may determine what field of study you're going into and what college campus or university campus that you may enroll in. If you're looking at schools in the United States, there are two forms of standardized tests that I want you to be familiar with. And we're going to share a document that I put together afterwards with links so you can go in and access these forms. But I don't want to be too jargony right now. We'll give you other information so you can dive into those pieces more deeply.
I will
standardized testing. So you have your transcript, and now we're going into standardized testing. Number one, if English is not the primary language within your country and household, then you will need to take some type of exam, and there's many that you can take to show your level of English proficiency. And there's a number of ways that you can do this, and again, we'll share you the links. So standardized testing, want to study in the United States. If English is not your primary language, your first language, and I'm sure many of you speak more than 2, 3, 4 languages, then you're going to have that English proficiency. A second test that some colleges will require in the United States, but not all, is called the Scholastic Assessment Test, or the SAT. That is a second test that you will take. Again, not all colleges and universities are requiring it. Maybe about half of them are. However, if you're able to sit for this exam, if it is available to you within a fairly reasonable radius of travel, this could give you some opportunities by taking that test to open up a few more doors. Okay. Benjamin, is it okay if I continue, or should I stop there? Then
No.
Take other. Okay.
I was just going to write to Debbie that I hope she didn't disappear, that we will answer her question after when you finish your little presentation.
Okay, perfect. It'll probably be about another like 5 minutes or so. So
Perfect.
if you were applying to college within the way that applying to college and university in the United States is different than many other countries, is that in most countries and educational systems, if you have your transcript, the grades and courses that I described, and you have taken a standardized test, the national standardized test, that's pretty much that is the application process for most systems of higher education. In the United States, beyond transcript, grades, courses, and standardized testing, another component is really about who you are as a person. And I'll let you know how we get to that within the application. But basically, I like to put it within these different categories of beyond your academics, what else are you involved with and interested in? This could be intellectual, just like you're engaged in this learning on a weekly basis. This may not be considered an activity or extracurricular activity like theater or sport. However, you are engaging beyond your classroom environment. And this is one engagement that I would say would be considered as appealing to colleges within the United States, because you're showing your global mindedness and your earnestness to learn. If you are involved in the arts, theater, music, painting, sculpture, if you are an athlete, you're engaged in your school or maybe city or regional setting, all of these outside of school activities are considered in the application process for colleges and universities in the United States. And here's kind of a professional tip too. Quite often we don't think that our home life is of value when we're applying to a school. Within the United States, your home life matters a great deal. The admission officers want to know more about, your household, the number of siblings that you may have, if you have responsibility for a younger sibling, if a grandparent lives in your household or extended family, and what that means to you from having shared experiences with different generations, across your family. Maybe you're caring for a grandparent, or you're helping your parents out by having a part-time job so that you're earning money. All of these pieces matter when you're applying to college within the United States. they want to know, the admission offices want to know more about you. So you have the academics and you have the standardized testing, but this full life beyond the classroom is of value. You may ask why. The reason is that the colleges within the United States are admitting and enrolling a class of students who are going to create a new community. And we want those students to be engaged with each other and learn from one another in both the classroom, but then also in the residence halls and in the community groups and clubs and activities. So that's the framing. Now let's talk about how. How are we going to do this? And then I'm open for questions. So the how to apply. Simply, you just need one application, and it's called the Common Application. The Common Application in the United States has over 1,000 colleges and universities, not only in the United States, but also outside the United States. So many international schools are also on the Common Application. The reason it's called Common is, for the most part, you fill the information out once, and it could then go to all the schools that you apply to. So you don't have to keep filling out multiple forms and applications for different schools. So the Common Application, very important. Again, with the document that we'll share with you, you'll have a direct link to the Common Application. This is where you're going to request letters of recommendation from teachers that you have, and also that you're going to write some essays so the admission committees can learn more about you. So there is a little bit more work here than there is with, just again, a transcript and standardized testing. Next step. Okay, I have these wonderful schools. I'll give you a list of schools too to think about. Financial support. How am I going to be able to have financial aid? And there's many colleges within the United States across the board that provide money for international students and are interested in having international students on their campuses. And for some schools, this could be as low as 10% of their student body, 15% of their student body, all the way up to about half of their student body, coming from hundreds of countries, maybe 110 countries, not hundreds, but 90 to 110 countries from around the world. First, for financing, you should take a look to see if your national government is interested in having students study outside of the country. Many times, governments will support the study outside of the home country, particularly if it's in fields like technical fields, like science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and even economics has become kind of an equivalent of math and science for many countries if you're going to study business or economics. And so some national governments will help pay for students to leave their country, to study in the United States, and then come back and work for a period of time. There's another form that I won't get too far into. Again, it will be in a document that we share, and it is called the CSS profile. Basically, just think about this as a form where you're putting down your family's financial situation, earned income, any money that they may have, and just documenting that. And that may mean that there isn't any money as well. Finally, there are some school-based forms. So whenever you're applying to a specific school, there may be some school-based forms. So just two more pieces, and I know this is getting technical. You've applied, you get funding, now you need to get visa. And so with a visa, you're looking specifically for the F1, F as in Fox 1 visa, which allows you to study at a college or university within the United States. The M1 visa is more for technical schools, but I think we'll really focus more on the F1 visa. Now I'm just going to list some schools and be ready to take some questions. So here are some schools within the United States that have some of the highest percentages of students from outside the United States or international students studying. So there's two groups of schools, private and then public or state. The public or state institutions receive money from basically the state governments. So they're not They're not independently run or private. So the private schools are, so start putting some out here if you want to jot them down, and I could share this again. New York University in New York City, Northwestern, which is right outside the city of Chicago, Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the University of Southern California, which is in Los Angeles, Boston University, which you guessed it, is in Boston, Massachusetts, and very close to us here, the University of Pennsylvania, which is one of the 8 Ivy League schools. And you're going to see that many of the Ivy League schools also have percentages of international students, maybe in around that 15% area. So those are private schools. The larger state institutions that have high numbers of international students, and there's so many of them. I'll name off a few, and then we could share again through other documents. Arizona State University, the University of Illinois, Purdue University, great school for engineering, UCLA University, California in Los Angeles, the State University of Washington, our own Penn State University, and the list goes on and on. Michigan, Ohio State, there's so many of them. So maybe a point here is, as you're taking a look at 2 different groupings of schools, the private schools tend to be smaller and have the financial support for financial aid. The state universities are larger and have a commitment to international students, and their price point tends to be a bit lower on the sticker price. So Benjamin, I think we've put a lot of information out there. Hopefully it's somewhat digestible. We'll have the follow-up as well, but certainly happy to open this up to any questions that the students may have. And any input from the Penn Charter students who I see on the screen who just applied to college.
Yes, maybe we want to give quickly a chance for our Penn Charter students. Maybe they've got some advice for applying. And then I'd love to just open this up to questions. Please raise your hand on your virtual, and then and then unmute yourself so that you can ask a question. I'm sorry that I muted you, but it was going to make it easy for everybody. We've got a big group here, and I wanted to make sure that everybody could hear. And also, in closing, I will send to everybody, even if you were not on the Zoom lesson, I will send to everybody the document that Eric Fuda sent to me, which will has all of the links that you can use to get access to applications and forms. Okay. Yeah, Matt?
Well, I don't really know if this is like advice. I mean, it is, but like, I don't know if it's worked because I haven't really heard back from many colleges yet. But I feel like it was a lot easier to write my essays if it was something that I was really passionate about. So like if it was an essay that was like my Common App essay, which was basically just talking about yourself for 2 pages, I wrote it multiple times, like over and over again, and I enjoyed writing it. And it was like, it wasn't like, it was stressful, but like it wasn't like a pain to do. And some of this other schools' essays are kind of annoying because they're boring. But like I would say, always make sure if there's a chance to write about something that you really are passionate about, go for it. If that makes sense.
Could you give them an example of what they asked you that was boring versus one that you like?
Well, almost every single school just asks why you want to go to their school, and that's kind of boring because it gets repetitive. But one school asked me to like introduce myself. Darn, I'm about to cough. One school asked me to introduce myself, and I talked about how I can't ride a bike and how I liked a scooter. And I don't know, I talked about how I think a hot dog's a sandwich and all this like this weird quirky stuff about me.
So. Very, very good. So you don't have to be like super serious. You can just be more natural, just like things that define you as a person. That's great. Thank you. Excellent.
That's great advice.
Excellent. Christian, you have a question. Please make sure you unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
I want to ask about international scholarship for the sport. and I want to know more about it. Like, what can I do to get it?
Great. What do you participate in athletically?
Basketball.
Basketball. Great. So one piece that you will see at all levels of sports within the United States, but we'll talk about kind of the Division I level, which has scholarships. There are some rosters where you will see basically the full roster being international within the United States, or very close to the full roster being international. One of them is squash, and one of them is rowing crew, largely international at many of the top institutions within the US. Certainly for basketball, because it is so high level within the country and receives a great deal of media attention. So it's not hard, through any form of media to kind of see the teams and see their rosters. What I recommend is that you go to whatever colleges that you're interested in, maybe starting with the list that we just shared, going onto their athletic website. There is an athletic questionnaire that can be completed. And that's very basic information, including some reporting out of academics like your grade point average. And by filling out that basic form, doesn't cost you anything. You just access the form, very basic demographic information and academic information. And by the way, they're going to ask you how tall you are and what some of your, athletic statistics are. That is a low barrier to entry, no cost way that you can introduce yourself to the colleges and universities that you're interested in. I'm seeing Meryl nod a little bit because you needed to fill out forms like this through part of your process as well, correct?
Yeah, I did. I would also say there often on the athletic websites, there are listed the coaches' emails, and often it'll list the head coach and then assistant coaches, and sometimes an assistant coach will be a specific recruiting coordinator who handles finding students to fill some new students who want to apply and be on the team. And I would say email them, get their emails, send an introductory email, say, this is my name, here some similar information that would be on the form as a second way to make sure that you're getting seen by the coaches.
Meryl, you also put together an athletic resume, correct?
Yes, I did. It was think of it like a job application, except it's an application as an athlete. So I put my name, my height, my athletic achievements, what teams I played for, what other athletic things I did, and my grades. And I sent that in the email.
What age?
From when I started high school, so around age 14, 15 to current, is what the information I would put on it. And then I would also send updates every couple weeks to coaches for teams that I wanted to play for of any new accomplishments.
So Christian, that's a very, very efficient, and again, no to low effort, low cost. I mean, there's effort, but there isn't a barrier that is financial to do any of this.
Okay. Thank you for your advice.
Excellent. Anybody else have some questions?
The other piece that I will add, being mindful of our time, is I was speaking more specifically to undergraduate. Some of you may be interested in the professions, law, medicine, perhaps a higher level degree, like a doctoral degree. And the number of international students in many of our graduate programs within the United States, again, these programs are looking for the most talented students from around the world. What is different in the US is that you do not study law or medicine as an undergraduate. Those are graduate level programs, meaning after you receive your undergraduate degree.
Excellent. Yes. I know that Makfara is very interested in studying medicine in the United States. My sister just recommended to her that I did not know this, but Cornell has a medical school in Qatar, which is much closer. So I just sent her a link to their webpage. Muhaddin, do you have a question? You're going to need to unmute yourself. I just did that because I heard some background noise.
Yes. Sorry for that. Good evening. Thank you very much, dear Eric, for the great presentation. To be very honest, taking into account the level of comprehension of our students, it was just excellent for understanding. And also thank you very much, Benjamin, for this opportunity for inviting Eric to tell our students so much useful information about the admission procedures and requirements. And based on our experience so far, we see that in our schools, actually, critical thinking is not taught that much, and essay writing skills are also not taught. Overall, the quality of education is low in our countries. Therefore, definitely those who want to get good education and achieve something in this life, they strive to get admitted by Western universities. And my question is, of course, maybe this is too much for the first time, but however, I would like to know whether it would be possible to have some kind of programs, let's say together, which would enable our students jointly learn and improve these skills like essay writing and also exam. And the main question, is there any website where our students can get free preparation exams for GMAT, TOEFL, and anything else which is required for admission?
Yes. So in terms of standardized testing preparation, the administrative group that provides these tests, one of which, the largest one, is the College Board. They offer free online preparation for their tests. There's almost too many resources. So here would be my recommendation, because I think having a cohort and some other accountability is helpful, is your students could register through the College Board for some of their free online test preparation. My recommendation on how to do that would be that you get a group of students that will then hold each other accountable to not only have self-paced preparation, but that they would hit certain, marks by not achievement, but certain homework assignments in a certain period of time. So they're not only accountable to themselves, but accountable to others, and you'll make each other run faster by doing that. I would also recommend, in terms of using these online resources, if there could then be more of a subject matter expert, one in math and one in kind of critical thinking and writing, that could then be introduced to the cohort, maybe every second class, to provide some assignments and some assessment of the work that they've done. So free online resources, cohort accountability, group accountability, and if there is a teacher or maybe an older student who could then come in and assist with some input, I think that would be really very helpful. On essay writing, there is a person called the college essay guy. Some of our students work with this individual, the college essay guy. His name is Ethan Sawyer, and he has a number of free resources that students can use to think about, including books, which aren't free, but they're very low cost, about how to think about writing more personal narratives. So those, again, are very, like, I'm really trying to highlight the low barrier to entry cost opportunities. So there aren't hurdles that just aren't realistic.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. Would it be possible to get their names through Benjamin?
No,
These
absolutely.
sources, links to these sources.
Yes, Benjamin, in addition to the document I've already shared with you, I will go into the same document and add a few more resources.
Okay, so do that, and then I will share that with everybody. I'll send the email out tomorrow then. I'll give you a chance to update that and then resend it back to him. Excellent. I think Ethron, you had a question about visas?
Yes, I have a question. I want to say how, which way is easy to go to America? By which way?
Well, maybe I'll help out with this a little bit. You know, how easy is it to apply for the visa?
So once you're admitted to a university or college, that's the first step in order to then get the student visa. As long as a college has admitted you and they are assisting you and showing that the finances are in place for you to be able to come to the US, live here, and study here, then the visa is just, it's paperwork.
A formality.
It takes a little bit, it takes a little bit of time to fill out and process. The actual paperwork is called the I-20. But once those other pieces are in place, this is more procedural.
Excellent. Yara, you have a question.
Yeah, I do. So, I'm not American, but my question is, if they give full scholarships to the students who took the national curriculum, because I've heard a lot about stories about the people who didn't get like a full scholarship because they studied their national curriculum. So that was my question.
Certainly. When I've worked on the university side at two institutions that have a strong commitment to international students, the University of Pennsylvania here in Philadelphia and Columbia University in New York City, the majority of students who were applying were coming from their national system of education. There were some students, a smaller group of students, who might have studied in more of a quote unquote international school, like a United World College, or a boarding school. I know we had some folks from Ghana here. African Leadership Academy is one. But the majority of students are applying from their hometowns and their home states and their home country through the national curriculum, as opposed to the other types of schools.
It's because I've heard a story because my cousin went to like an international school and she got a full scholarship in Europe, but I've been told that I wouldn't get like a full scholarship because I take the national student curriculum. So I was just asking if that's actually true.
Well, every college and university is going to be different, certainly, and some schools may have preferences one over the other. But my approach to this is when you think about where most students are coming from, they're not coming from these smaller private schools largely versus the state system school. And so I think one of the challenges with any of this is, look, how competitive any one school will be, how competitive any one college or university will be, which is very similar applying because you used a European example. So if you're applying to schools within, let's say, the United Kingdom, there is a similar application to the common application, which is called UCAS, UCAS. And when you apply through UCAS, you choose 5 colleges in which you want to apply to. What's helpful with UCAS is they're very clear about what standards they want in terms of academic achievement. And I would say that standardized testing becomes maybe more important in that type of evaluation.
Excellent. So I think to answer that question, Yada, as well as like, I don't think it's entirely true. I think what they're looking for is, is like who you are as a student. Obviously, you have to do well. There's going to be these standardized tests that will help to, gives them sort of like a framework to see where your school is in relationship to others. But I think like if you write a good essay, I think that essay and being able to interview very well, some accomplishments that you've been able to that you're able to show, those are going to be very important. I think taking part in any of these types of programs, and then writing about it, saying, hey, I spent 1 year, I spent 3 months, on this open house for peace and understanding. I was meeting students from Tajikistan, Jordan, Ghana. We made presentations. And then I think the key thing is, to be able to tell a personal story. I interview for the University of Pennsylvania as an alumni. And, I'm always looking, for I'm looking for a before and after type of story, something like, tell me about how, where you were before you joined this program, and something very specific about how it helped you to develop. Makfarat, you wrote a beautiful testimony, and you nailed it. You talked about how you felt shy before joining this program, and then how it can help to give you the confidence. And then if you could even tell a kind of a funny little story, like, oh, I made this presentation and, I thought it was going to be, I was so ashamed and was worried that people were going to laugh. And then all of a sudden I gave it and everybody was applauding. And that small little moment changed my life. And, that kind of a story is so authentic and so real that, for me as an interviewer, that's going to resonate very strongly. Eric, does that make sense to you?
It does, and I'm glad that you brought up that opportunity for interviews, because this is another way that you are able to share that story outside of writing essays. And so that's really showing that the schools want to hear more about you one-to-one with our alumni volunteers.
Great. Well, Eric, thank you so very much for your time today. We went a little bit overboard. I'm sure you've got to get back. You've got a busy day in front of you. Kids, thank you all. Give me a big thumbs up. It was great seeing you all. I look forward to hearing Halima is going to be giving us a presentation on politics in Tajikistan. I can't wait to share that with everybody. I hope our students from Ghana will join us. I think that we were a little bit fast on them. They haven't had a chance to get warmed up. We're a really cool group of people. All of our kids from Jordan, please feel free to join us next week. We need presentations from Jordan. Yarma, tell us a story about Jordan. We so much want to, do we not?
Yes, I do have a story. Last year, I was supposed to attend with my school on this Zoom meeting, not that one to be exact, but it was a year ago. And I made mine. I still have it, and I hadn't presented it, and that was really So if I can do that next week, then yeah, sure I can.
Okay, I mean, I've got one presentation for next week. Maybe we can do. We might have time for 2. I'm going to send out an email. Yarma, I hope I have your email.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, I'm going to send out tomorrow when I get Eric's document with all of the stories. I will send that, and I will also send out again the Telegram channel. I find that Telegram is a good place for us to quickly communicate and share what we're, to keep us up to date as to how we're moving along. People, fantastic. Thank you so very much. I'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Next.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
See you next week. Bye
See you
bye.
next week.